Alrighty, folks, we're now 4-0 in our last 4 crowd pleaser teasers on my premium page. We had an alternate run line parlay going off yesterday in that package. It was actually featuring the Mets and the Astros. And I'll tell you what, the good news is I've got another crowd pleaser teaser going off here for you today. And if you sign up for that package, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your purchase. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my Major League Baseball free pick video here today for Sunday, August 18th, 2024. Happy Sunday to you. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. And of course, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. And with that, folks, let's go ahead and dive right into some free content. We're going to start off with the early game. I'm talking about the Marlins at the Mets, 12:05 East. The New York Mets are the $2 favorite. Totals 8.5. Paul Blackburn for New York. Valente Biazzo, for Miami. I've heard a bunch of different pronunciations of it. But anyway, even though Palazzo's looked real good this year, the Marlins have struggled to hit all season long. They're actually dead last in the National League in runs per game. And they're going to face a Mets club who's definitely performed well against divisional opponents. They're currently 22-16 against the NL East. And a lot of that has to do with good plate appearances. The Mets are a top 10 run-scoring team. Francisco Lindor, he's got the most hits on the roster, most RBI as well. And Pete Alonso, he currently leads the clubhouse in home runs. Now, total-wise, the Mets have held Miami to under 3.1 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings. Meanwhile, the Marlins saw 3 out of their last 5 Biazzo starts stay under the total. Give me the Mets minus 1.5. Under 8.5 runs. Next game, Red Sox, Orioles, 135 East. Baltimore's $1.45, totals 9. Albert Suarez for the O's, Cutter Crawford for Boston. And Crawford now has a losing record on the year. ERA in the 4s. And I'll tell you what, these Boston pitchers have struggled with Baltimore in recent gatherings. They've allowed over 5.9 runs a game in their last 10 meetings. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. And I'll tell you what, we should see more of the same here today as, Baltimore is a top 3 run-producing team. Anthony Santander is 3rd in the bigs in home runs, 80 RBI on the season. And Gunnar Henderson, he's got an OPS in the 900s along with a 7.5 WAR. And even if the O's struggle at the dish, they should be in good hands with Albert Suarez on the mound. The righty's got an ERA of 3.39. Now, injury-wise, Adley Rutschman's questionable for Baltimore. Keep an eye on him. 7 out of the O's last 10 meetings with Boston did get over the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Of course, the Red Sox saw overs in their last 5 straight Crawford starts. Give me Baltimore $1.45 over 9. Next matchup, Mariners Pirates 135 East. Seattle $1.55 total 8. George Kirby for the M's. Jake Woodford for Pittsburgh. And I'll tell you what, regardless of how Woodford throws, the Buccos have not been good enough at the plate for the majority of the season. They're a bottom 5 run scoring team at home in the National League. They're going to face George Kirby, who's got a 1.09 whip along with 143 strikeouts. And I'll tell you what, that's not overly surprising. This Seattle pitching staff has been dominant all season long. They're allowing fewer hits per 9 than any other roster in the bigs. Give me Seattle minus 155, under 8. Next contest, NL East action, Nats, Phillies, 135 East. Philadelphia's $1.75, total 9.5. Taijuan Walker for the Phils, Jake Irvin for Washington. And even though Irvin's had some great starts, the Nats just don't want to win. They don't want to win for the guy. And unfortunately for him, he's got double-digit losses and a losing record on the year. These Nationals pitchers have been terrible away from home this season. They're allowing more hits a game on the road than any other team in the bigs. And they're going to face a Phillies team who definitely hits the ball well at Citizens Bank Park. These guys are the second highest run-producing team at home in the game. Alec Boehm's got the 9th most RBI in the bigs, club leader in hits. Bryce Harper's got an OPS in the 900s. Now, out of the Phil's last 10 gatherings with Washington, they have hit these Nationals pitchers well. They actually averaged over 5.3 runs a game during that time frame. When it comes to the total, the Nats went 60% to the over in their last 10. They also saw their last 4 straight Jake Irvin starts get over the line. Give me Philly -1.5, over 9.5. Next contest, D-backs Rays, 1:40 p.m. East. Arizona's $1.25, total 7.5. Merrill Kelly for the D-backs, Drew Rasmussen for Tampa Bay. And regardless of how Rasmussen throws, the Rays have been a bit of a disgrace at the plate. They're averaging only 7.1 hits a game at the Trop. They're nearly dead last in the league in that particular category. And because of that, they're averaging fewer runs a game at home than any other lineup besides one. Unfortunately for them, they're facing Merrill Kelly, who's got a sub-1 whip on the mound, and he's yet to record a loss. But I'll tell you what, even if Kelly stinks here today, he is backed by the highest run-producing lineup in the game. Ketel Marte's got an OPS of 930, 8th in the bigs in home runs. And Jock Peterson's got an OPS of 940. Arizona's last 3 straight road games did get over the total. They were also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Diamondbacks -1.25, over 7.5. Next game, Royals-Reds, 1:40 Eastern first pitch. Cincinnati's $1.20, totals 9.5. Andrew Abbott for Cincinnati, Brady Singer for Kansas City. And Singer's got 130 strikeouts and an ERA in the 3s. And this Kansas City pitching staff's definitely been tough to hit against away from Kauffman Stadium. These guys are in the top 5 in runs allowed per game. They're facing a Cincy squad who averages under 7.2 hits a game at the Great American Ballpark. They're nearly dead last in hits per game at home. And I tell you what, out of Andrew Abbott's last 5 starts, the Reds averaged only 2.4 runs a game. Now, 3 out of the Reds' last 5 home games did stay under the line. They also went 9-3 to the under in their last dozen Abbott starts. Give me KC +$1, under 9.5. All right, next game, White Sox Astros, 2:10 Eastern start time. Houston's the $4 favorite, totals 8. Framber Valdez for the Stros, Kai Busch for Chicago. And the lefty Busch has an ERA in the 5s already after only a handful of innings. But even if he does have a good showing here today, there's a good chance he'll get little to no run support. Chicago is the lowest run-scoring team in the bigs, and they have to face a 12-win Framber Valdez with a 3.38 ERA and a 1.17 whip. Of course, at the dish, Houston is a top 3 hit-producing team. Yordan Alvarez has an OPS of 947. He's in the top 10 in both batting average and OPS. Of course, Jose Altuve's got the most hits in the clubhouse himself. When it comes to the injury list, Alex Bregman's questionable for the Astros. Give me Houston -1.5, over 8. Next ballgame, Guardians Brewers, 2:10 Eastern start time. Cleveland's $1.20, totals 8.5. Ben Lively for the Guardians, Colin Ray for Milwaukee. And the righty Rays got double-digit wins with an ERA in the 3s. Of course, at the plate, the Brewers are a top 10 hit-producing team. Willie Adames has the 10th most RBI in the bigs. William Contreras with the most hits in the lineup. They're facing a Cleveland squad who's, struggled a bit getting base runners recently. Matter of fact, the Guardians are now a bottom 10 hit-producing team. And out of their last 10 gatherings with Milwaukee, they've struggled with these Brewers pitchers. They've actually got held to just 5.7 hits a game during that time frame. Now, 5 out of the Guardians' last 6 road games did stay under the total. They also went 8-2 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Milwaukee saw 6 out of their last 9 on their own diamond stay under the line. Give me Milwaukee plus $1, under 8.5. Next game, Dodgers Cardinals 215 East. The Dodgers are $1.20, totals 8. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers, Sonny Gray for St. Louis. And as good as Gray's been, well, the Redbirds took the loss in 3 out of his last 4 starts. Of course, as a team, St. Louis has struggled over the past few weeks. They lost 6 out of their last 8. And they had some bad ABs during that span. They're now a bottom 5 run-producing team in the National League. And they're facing a Dodger lineup who can definitely score with the best of them. LA's in the top 5 in runs per game. Shohei Ohtani has the most homers in the National League, OPS of 990. Of course, Mookie Betts has an on-base percentage of 400. He's got a WAR of 4.1 as well. Of course, WAR is wins above replacement. Now, injury-wise, Freddie Freeman's questionable for the Dodgers. Keep an eye on him. When it comes to the total, 3 out of the Cards' last 5 home games did fall under the line. Give me the Dodgers minus 120, under 8. Next matchup, Blue Jays Cubs, 2:20 Eastern first pitch. Chicago's $1.90 at home, total 7. Shota Imanaga for Chicago, Bowden Francis for Toronto. And even though Francis has allowed a considerable amount of runs, he does come into today's contest with a winning record on the year. Of course, when it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Jays did cover in their last 5 straight road games. So kind of hot, covering that 1.5, especially while traveling. And they're facing a Cubbies team on the other side who definitely struggles at the plate at Wrigley. These guys are a bottom 5 hit-producing lineup on their own field. Now, injury-wise, Leo Jimenez is questionable for the Blue Jays. 3 out of their last 5 on the road did stay under the total. Give me Toronto plus 1.5, under 7. Next game, Twins, Rangers, 235 East. Minnesota's $1.20, totals 8. Pablo Lopez for the Twins, Tyler Mahle for the Rangers. And the Rangers, have definitely had a tough time scoring at home this year. They're a bottom 10 run-producing team in their own building. And unfortunately for them, they're going to face an 11-win Pablo Lopez, who's got a 1.15 whip and a whole lot of strikeouts. And I'll tell you what, speaking of which, this Minnesota pitching staff as a whole, they've been, doing a nice job ringing out opponents. They're in the top 3 in strikeouts per 9. Now, total-wise, the Twins saw their last 3 straight on the road stay under the total. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, 3 out of the Rangers' last 4 at Globe Life Field fell under the line. Give me Minnesota minus 120, under 8. Next game, Padres Rockies, 3:10 Eastern start time. San Diego's the $2 favorite, totals 11. Joe Musgrove for the Pods, Brad Blaylock for Colorado. And the Rockies have definitely played some bad baseball against the division. I tell you what, out of 42 contests against the NL West, they got the W only 14 times. Of course, more recently, they also lost 7 out of their last 10. And they just strike out way too much at the dish, having a lot of problems making contact. They're actually fading more times a game than any other roster in the National League. And they're facing the best hit-producing lineup on the road in the game. Jurickson Profar leads the Padres in RBI and hits. Luis Ariz hits .312. It's amazing that Ariz hitting .312 is like a really down year for him. It's like a terrible year for him hitting .312. A guy just slaps him around. Really resembles Tony Gwynn a lot. Now, 6 out of the Friars' last 7 road games did get over the total. While Colorado went 60% to the over in their last 10. Give me the Pods minus 1.5, over 11. Next game, Braves, Angels, 407 East. Atlanta's $1.55, total 9. Charlie Morton for the Braves, Jack Kokonowitz for the Angels. And through just 14-plus innings of work, Jack's got himself a horrible ERA of 7.98. Not only is that last name a mouthful, that ERA is certainly substantive as well. Now, Kokonowitz, I believe that's how you say it, he's also backed by a bottom 5 run scoring team. And they're facing Charlie Morton, who's got 120 strikeouts on the year himself. And speaking of Ks, well, this Braves pitching staff punches out more batters a game than any other club in the majors. Now, 6 out of Atlanta's last 10 ball games did get over the total. Meanwhile, the Angels went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Braves minus 155, over 9. Next matchup, Giants Athletics 407 East. San Francisco's $1.75 on the road, total 7.5. Blake Snell for the Giants, J.P. Sears for Oakland. And I'll tell you what, the lefty Sears, he's a double-digit game winner for the A's right now. He's got a whip of just 1.19, winning record. Certainly good stuff for him. And when it comes to cashing in on the run line, the A's covered in 6 out of their last 10. Brent Rooker's in the top 10 in the majors in both homers and OPS. And J.J. Bleday, he's got an on-base percentage of .329. And they're going to face Blake Snell, who, listen, I don't have, like, amnesia. I know he threw a no-no last week. I get that. But he still has just 2 wins on the season. It's a 2-3 record through 69 innings. When it comes to covering the run line, well, the Giants are just 39% against the number in their interleague games. Now, 6 out of the Giants' last 10 ball games did stay under the total. Meanwhile, Oakland saw their last 4 straight at the Coliseum stay under the line. Give me Oakland plus 1.5, under 7.5. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our next and final breakdown for the video. Kind of a special game here, a unique game. Yankees-Tigers. It's going to be a 7:10 Eastern first pitch at Bowman Field in Williamsport, PA. Kind of doing that, cross-promotional stuff with the Little League World Series. They are playing on a Major League-sized field, though. They're not playing at Labadee Stadium. Bowman Field in Williamsport. Now, Detroit's the $1.20 favorite in this one, totals 8 runs. And, of course, the reason why they're the favorite, it's Tarek Skubal, who's on the mound for the Tigers. Looks like Marcus Stroman on the other side for New York. And I tell you what, as good as Skubal's been, I really like this price point for Stroman and the Bombers. They got the W in 9 out of his last 13 starts. And, of course, that span of starts, that included that rough patch. So, the Bombers are still winning games for Stroman. And I'll tell you what, if you think that neutral site might affect the Bombers at the plate, well, you may want to think again, because the Bombers hit great away from the Bronx. They're actually the highest run-producing team away from home in the game. And they're batting first today, by the way. They're the official away team. Aaron Judge, he's got the most homers in the bigs. First in RBI and OPS as well. Of course, Juan Soto, he's got an OPS in the thousands. 7.3 wins above replacement average as well. And they're going to face a Detroit squad who doesn't score a whole lot. These guys averaged under 3.1 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with New York. So they struggle with Yankee pitching. And the Tigers are officially a bottom 5 hit-producing lineup in the American League. Now, 7 out of the Tigers' last 10 ball games did stay under the total. Meanwhile, the Yankees saw 3 out of their last 5 away from the Bronx stay under the line. Give me the Bombers, plus $1, under 8. With that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Mets minus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Baltimore minus 145, over 9. Mariners minus 155, under 8. Phillies minus 1.5, over 9.5. Arizona minus $1.25, over 7.5. Royals plus $1, under 9.5 runs. Astros minus 1.5, over 8. Milwaukee plus $1, under 8.5. Dodgers minus 120, under 8 runs. Blue Jays plus 1.5, under 7. Twins minus $1.20, under 8. Padres minus 1.5, over 11. Braves minus 155, over 9. Oakland A's plus 1.5, under 7.5. Give me the Yankees plus $1, under 8 runs. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Well, that's it, folks. Happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.